Thank you for watching Conscious Consumer Network. The live stream broadcast is free to view. You can pause and rewind live broadcasts to catch up, or view shows at a later date by accessing our free archives of all shows. Check out our broadcast guide to see what's on. You can show your support by donating to our network support fund. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, or subscribe to the monthly newsletter for updates. We thank you for supporting free and independent media.
Hi, my name is Bojan and I'm from Serbia. I'm volunteering as a point of contact, or as we abbreviate the name POC, for my country. I've been involved in TVP activism since 2011. My profession is technical engineering, and I work as a project designer in a software company. First time I found about the Venus project was 2007 in the documentary Future by Design. I haven't stopped thinking and talking about it since. Since then, through the cooperation of activists, TVP activism has gained its form, structure, and evolved to a place where we all work together, learn together in a pleasant environment with the specific goals that we work on globally, as well as local projects such as translations, publishing texts about TVP, or doing the promotions and screenings with the constant improvement of our processes and working methodology. Serbian activism team, working with the local magazine Gradina, managed to publish 120 pages about the Venus project and promote the documentary Paradise or Oblivion. Through this process, I've met many great people and my life partner that is also a TVP activist. To sum it all, I think TVP activism is a good place to be right now, and part of it that is special is that you can be involved in the designing the future. In this presentation, I will talk about TVP activism, so let's start with the history of TVP activism. Until 2011, TVP didn't have any activism teams directly under their guidance. That changed abruptly, and we found ourselves in the process of creating new teams with new POCs and restructuring at top speed. There were very few active hands on board at that time and a huge amount of work to be done. We can call this TVP Support 101. Structuring TVP 102. The next phase, TVP Activism 102, was focused on structure, with its organizers having more time to dedicate to it, began a more systematic method of working. Relevant documents about materials and procedures regarding the TVP and TVP activism were presented in documents that were shared with the volunteers. POCs were no longer simply given an activism email, but first had to fill in a form with some basic questions to answer. The idea here was to make sure that POCs at least had some idea of where to find TVP relevant information and enough understanding of how TVP was structured. There were no meetings to share updates. Many POCs weren't answering their emails. Most were totally invisible, and we had no idea if they were active or not. Of the 100 or so POCs we supposedly had, only perhaps a couple of dozen were actually connected with the base we were all trying to build. The next phase we called TVP Activism 103, and it was born when, at the start of 2013, there was a suggestion to remove the POC figure and basically let people do what they want to spread the information about TVP. Several people decided to step up and take on the organization of the activism teams. Forms were sent to all the supporters, asked for feedback on how the experience of being a POC had been, what their suggestions were for improvement, if they would be willing to help with the restructuring process, and so on. And so, armed with all of this data and just a half a dozen volunteers committed to get all this going, we fired up the engines and got it started. We use TeamSpeak for organized meetings. It is a platform that allows you to have group chat meetings and also to manage the access rights and attach badges to users about teams they belong and languages that they know. This way you can easily find the person that can help you. A series of TeamSpeak meetings were held to discuss the plans and bring together everyone's feedback and suggestions. The results of the forums were shared with everyone, and we really tried to make everyone feel that they are an integral part of what was happening. Unfortunately, it is becoming apparent that some people have convinced themselves that there is some kind of power hierarchy in this process. However, once you understand the way in which all of this has developed, it becomes clear that both circumstances and need have helped shape the structure and current situation. It's important for everyone to understand that attending meetings to share experience and information on our updates or follow a shared approach is not a question of control. Such concerted efforts to increase our collective experience and to avoid senseless duplication of efforts is absolutely essential to our global growth, and a truly global RBE is not going to come about because one country or local area is doing much better than anywhere else. We are all moving toward a collaborative society where teams are formed on an international and interdisciplinary level, where we can share knowledge and learn from one another. But instead of all of us working together in the same direction and consulting on what the actual needs are for the Venus project and the activism teams, people are creating and then trying to redirect the relatively few active members toward their own projects, which many times have little to do with what the Venus project has clearly stated is most useful at that time. There is no hierarchy in TVP activism. There is a system that we are following to work more efficiently on a global scale. The invitation is always open for people to come on board and help us with everything we're working toward. Everyone is welcome to get involved. Now we come to the fun part. Activism is manifesting itself through internet and on live events. So let's try to sum up and see some examples of what TVP activists and volunteers actually do. First, there are global teams who have volunteers that have signed agreements with the Venus project. TVP website. TVP website has been developed and maintained over the years by qualified volunteers from several countries. We have also admins, and that is a small group of volunteers that does the admin work and that is solving and consulting about technical problems that volunteers encounter and responds to emails from the supporters, sometimes redirecting them to POCs in their own country so they can find out what they need in their own language and connecting them with their local TVP community. Linguistic Team International is consisted of many multilingual volunteers that help with the collaborative development of carefully crafted transcriptions and translations of important Venus project and resource-based economy materials. These translations are then used by TVP supporters to share this information with non-English speakers. Then we have media teams. Those are people with strong multimedia creation skills that can participate in any of our global media teams, where our audio, editorial, graphics, and video teams focus on introducing supplementary media to assist with TVP's global awareness efforts. POC team is formed by the activists who have chosen to take that responsibility for their country, and that includes several activities. First, learning about the Venus project as much as possible through the orientation course so they can provide people with more accurate information. In this process, volunteers learn about very interesting subjects such as the resource-based economy, human behavior, optimum tools, sustainable cities, sustainable sources of energy, creativity, free will, organization of PVP activism, and other things related to the Venus project. The next responsibility is responding to emails addressed to TVP activism email for their country. Every country that has its own POC has this email. Creating and maintaining a Facebook page and group is another obligation that point of contact has. Organizing the group meetings for current and new volunteers is the next obligation. And we have organizing events to promote TVP. The best, or at least most fun part of the activism, are live events. On these events, people of different or similar professions and interests come together to learn about the Venus Project and to speak and discuss about designing the better future by intelligent management of resources, sustainable resources, cities, and with that sustainable societies, living the high standard of living in coexistence with the environment. There are different types of events, so let's see some of them. Okay, I will start the slideshow so we can see some pictures. For starters, we have street action. Here we can see street action in Slovenia. Next photo is from street action in Venezuela, where we can see activists sharing TVP flyers, t-shirts, and CDs. On this photo, we can see street exhibition in Bulgaria, where activists have managed to promote TVP on billboards, where people can see Venus Project designs with descriptions. Next photo is an example of TVP billboard in Montenegro. Here we can see another creative way to promote TVP, where a taxi driver painted his taxi with the TVP motifs. Next photo shows interesting way to promote the Venus Project, where a guy decided to walk across the America and promote Peace Walk and the Venus Project. Screenings are another way to promote the Venus Project. Here we can see the activists from Brazil on the screening of TVP documentary The Choice is Ours. Another screening of The Choice is Ours in Chile with the question and answer session with Jacques and Roxanne. TVP presentation is also an effective way to promote TVP. Here we can see TVP presentation in Czech Republic. This is another example of presentation in Florida, presentation in Greece, in Italy, this is another photo from TVP presentation in Italy, where we have activists from different countries working together. Another TVP presentation in Serbia on Supernatural Festival. This is a TVP presentation in Taiwan. Okay, another way to promote the Venus Project is publishing texts in newspapers or in magazines. On the picture, we can see magazine Gradina, published in Serbia. Activists managed to publish 120 pages about the Venus Project in this magazine. Here you can see we had full color pictures. Another example of published TVP article in Serbian national newspaper Politico. This is an article published in Taiwan's magazine, A Better Means of Living. Workshops for kids are another way of promoting the Venus Project. Here we can see activists talking to kids about the Venus Project. In these workshops, kids paint the sketches with the TVP motifs, such as the circle of cities, cities in the sea, and other TVP designs. This is another photo of kids painting the TVP pictures. Okay. In this photo, we can see activists showing kids how to draw perspective drawing. Here we have a game, TVP game. Games are a good way for kids to learn. Activists from Serbia made the game for kids, where they start from regular cities, throw the dice, and move pawns until they go to the center of the game, the circular city. There are no winners. When someone finishes, he throws the dice for another kid so he can finish faster. Because the game is not competitive but cooperative, the children were peaceful and working together. It shows us in essence what humanity should do. We should change the rules and start living in cooperative and co-creative society of abundance. Thank you for listening.
If we want to change the world, we must first change the media. Mainstream media exists for the purposes of indoctrination and manipulation of public perception. The world of free and independent media is growing, and with the upsurge in information now available in the public domain, it has never been easier to access free and independent media. The exploration of this information resulted in an experimental project which would provide a fully supported space for researchers, whistleblowers, and seekers of all kinds to express themselves and educate the world. On the 1st of January 2015, Conscious Consumer Network was launched to the world. Nobody thought we would make it this far, but CCN is the longest running free and independent media network of its kind. CCN is a unique collaboration of hearts and souls, bringing you information from different perspectives to educate and inform. Since we started CCN, we have had only one desire: the pursuit of a free, fair, just, sustainable world, and this has not changed. Having overcome many challenges over the last 2 years, CCN is here to stay, and we've got great things lined up for 2017. Help keep CCN on the air by supporting the 2017 Network Support Fund.